Okay. So class, make sure we are writing the stages of the Holocaust. We're gonna have some discussion today. We're gonna pretend that this video camera is not recording. Keep going. So as you're writing period 2, quietly, I want you to really think about how all of this really happened. Like, yes, there are things we should know that happened, things we should look out for. But think about how this could happen as you're writing. So we have persecution, boycott Jewish businesses. How would the Nazis tell like the public that this was a Jewish business? What would they put on the business? Sorry, David. So stage 2 classification, what are some examples of badges of hate? What would they give badges of hate to? Antisocial, criminal, political, homosexual. Discrimination, so that's a denial of civil rights. Anti-Semitic laws. Anti-Semitic is anti-what? Jewish. Crystal knot is night of the what? Broken glass. And what happened? What is it called? The place where people worship, Jewish people worship, excuse me. Synagogues. So segregation, Jews were sent to ghettos. What were some of the conditions period 2 of the ghettos? Overcrowded, lack of resources, right? And sanitary. Stage 5, deportation. So that's when they were transported from the ghettos to the concentration camps and death camps. Which of those two, period 2, has to do with sole purpose is to kill? The death camps. And then last stage today is extermination. So final solution, gas chambers. And why gas chambers, period 2, as we're writing?
To not use bullets.
To not waste ammunition for the war. Are you able to kill as many people? Okay. So I know this is not the best like topics to talk about, but I feel like as historians we should discuss this. So make sure that everyone has this written out. I'm going to throw a question on the board. I want you to talk with your partner. If you want to write their question, that's okay. If you just want to take quick notes, that's okay. But I really want to talk. If you feel like that's a good point, you want to write it down, that's okay. But in normal conversation, like with your friends, you don't like, oh my God, that's a really good, funny joke you're saying, and you want to write it down, right? So that's not really authentic speaking, okay? So I'm going to throw this quick discussion with the partner, if you guys want to get in groups of 3, and I will go around with this. Why do you think the Holocaust lasted for 12 years? So again, it lasted from 1933, when the Nazis gained power, till when World War II ended. So turn to your partner. If you want to use any of the stages in your explanation, do so. Go ahead and talk. And go. Lissandro, you can work with Sam.
He explained how one of the people that were impersonated at the camp said that, like, why are you a fool? Why are you still coming here? But Eli and his father didn't know about the camp, so they kept it really hidden from everyone in Poland and everyone, like, etc. They kept it very hidden from them.
So why do you guys think the Holocaust lasted for 12 years?
Started boycotting Jewish businesses, which is how it started, and people still didn't do anything, and they still went with the classification. I think that's why it lasted 12 years, because they didn't want to stand up. They didn't think it was bad. They didn't think it could go to a certain degree.
They knew it was bad, or they didn't think it was gonna get bad?
They didn't think it was gonna be like get super bad. They thought, oh, they're just being racist. It's gonna end soon.
I want to add to your partner's point.
I agree, and I believe like people didn't want to speak up, and because they were scared of like what they can do to them.
You have more power. They probably like thought they couldn't do anything.
Keep talking.
They felt like they couldn't go against him either.
Actually, if you kind of shared your point, share with your partner which of the stages do you think it was the most like dangerous or the most like reason why it lasted so long? Does that make sense? Which of the stages do you think like was the worst, or which of the stages do you feel like led to the reason why the Holocaust lasted so long? And go. Which of the stages do you guys think? Like when should people sort of like started doing something?
I feel like maybe like when they started doing the laws in stage 2.
Stage 2? How come?
Because it was like a law, and then like people like they could have like rebelled against it.
Oh, okay. So like if you start early, then it wouldn't have gotten to that point. Okay, share another reason, another one.
They were separated, okay, they were separated already.
Okay, but
We were saying that we think that stage 2 kind of made it last because since the badges of hate, they basically separated each category, and then they were able to distinguish which ones were the Jews and which were not. So they were able to like discriminate them and like target them. Yeah.
that's a good point. That's a great point. I'm gonna go check on your other. Okay, which stages, gentlemen, do you feel like was the most dangerous?
So I was thinking the extermination,
Okay.
because it's basically just killing humanity without like thinking of them as humans. I don't know. I would like to.
Do you agree with him, disagree, or do you want to add to that argument?
I agree with him, but I also want to add how, because there was discrimination, how they were like...
Stage 3?
Yeah, stage 3.
Okay.
The denial of the civil rights, because that was probably one of like events that caused the Jews to how do I say it? Because that's when like the Nazis believed that they were superior to them. So that's...
Like we could take action because of it. Interesting. Okay. Once you're done sharing, turn to your partners, period 2. Figure out which stage is like the least dangerous. And I'm gonna go around with it. Least dangerous or most dangerous? I saw you guys talking. We're talking about the most dangerous one. That's why I believe it was you, Edmond. Or somebody.
How do you win?
I think the most dangerous will be the classification, because then
Stage 5?
no, second.
Oh, classification. Okay.
Because then you have to classify a bunch of Jews, so like this group will be considered an outsider, and the Germans would think, okay, you don't belong here, you should get out. And like since the Nazis classified the Jews and the homosexuals and etc., the Germans were like, okay, Hitler was right, we should follow his lead.
So it provides like validation. Do you guys agree?
I said that exactly.
That's good. So what else do you think? Which one do you feel is like the least dangerous or another dangerous stage?
I think the least would be like the business, because like right now when they just like put the star but they don't really do anything to the Jews, so that would be like the least dangerous.
Oh, stage 1. Okay. Like it doesn't have as much significance yet. Okay. What do you think, Erica? Oh, I like that you invited your friend to speak.
I think stage 5 is also like the dangerous one, because that's when they already like separated the people and they were determining who was going to die or who was going to like work until they died. And sometimes they would like also kill them.
That's a good one. Why do you overall think that it lasted this long? Stages, not stages, like how come it lasted so long?
I think it lasted for long because
It's okay. Or talk to your partners. Pretend this video camera is on you.
I think I'm isolated for 12 years because other countries didn't really do anything about it. They stayed isolated from like Germany's problem. They believed that it was only their problem. So like for example, the U.S. didn't like contribute to the war until they were attacked themselves. So that's one, because no one like cared for like other countries' problems.
Like being a bystander, basically.
Yes. The idea of being bystander.
But do you feel like maybe we get too involved too much? Is that a possibility? I'm just trying to stretch your thinking. I think you made a really good point though.
I think if they were like too involved, it would have created more like outrage and like made the war like bigger. In a way.
Right. Oh my gosh, very good. I learned a lot. Do you want to teach the class more? Okay, let's reconvene. All right, so a few of the questions that I asked. Just pretend this does not exist. So why do you think the Holocaust lasted for 12 years? It's some really good points. Some of you guys feel differently about which stages you feel caused the most harm or led to the Holocaust lasting for so long. So I want to hear like 3 or 4 people talk about like answering this prompt. Not all at once. Not all at once. Who would like to share? There's a lot. I will call on people, but I don't want to be there. Okay, yes. Nancy, share with your class.
I feel like it lasted for 12 years because like no one decided to speak up. Like they let everything happen because maybe at that time like it wasn't affecting them. But once it started to affect them, that's when they realized that it was too late to say something.
Raise your hand if you agree with Nancy. Very good. Twinkles or whatever Miss Copera tells you guys. What about anybody else want to share why it lasted? I heard a lot of that. Anyone else? Or which stage do you feel like was the most dangerous? I heard a lot of different ones. So I'm going to call if I recorded you. But let's put the stages back up. Which of these was the most dangerous or that led the Holocaust to last for so long? I will give you guys time to contemplate. Okay, Raul, thank you for volunteering. Which of these do you feel like was the most dangerous or caused the Holocaust to last for so long?
I believe that stage 6 was the most dangerous, extermination.
Okay, why do you think extermination was the most dangerous?
Because